Hi, this is Julie at Love's Beginning with a blog post called True Responsibility. Let's explore the idea of responsibility today. Responsibility is often viewed with the idea of heaviness or burdens. The idea of accumulation of increasingly heavier and complex burdens often accompanies the idea of responsibility. The idea of fault is sometimes used synonymously with the idea of responsibility. When responsibility is seen as relatively empowering, it is often seen as a quality that some superior ones have and other inferior ones do not have. Allow us to redefine responsibility so you can be aware of the every moment power that is available to you, the every moment power that you are. You are always completely responsible for your experience. There is never a moment when you are not responsible or only partially responsible. This is good news. Responsibilities are not separate things that are piled upon you. Responsibility is your inherent, always there, always alive, always active ability, an ability that never wavers, but that can be obscured intentionally by you, to meet your experience with and as the love you are. It is the ability to see all others as the love they are in every moment, no matter what seems to be happening. You have always had immediate access to this ability. You have never lost it. The same is true for all others. The only thing you can do with your beautiful, alive, and vibrant ability of responsibility is to cover it over with fearful concepts, to hide it from yourself. When you allow love to shine through every circumstance, you rediscover this fresh and awake ability that you never lost. If you never lost it, neither did anyone else. Look at the treasure trove upon which everyone is sitting. Can you see how blessed all are eternally? They can never lose what is theirs, and neither can you. The only thing any of you can do is to pretend that it isn't there. The time for pretending is over. We're going to use a dualistic concept of opposing directions to help you understand how responsibility functions, but we don't encourage you to cling to it. You're going to use concepts until you release the need for belief, but while you do, we encourage you to use them very lightly. Be willing to forget them, because that is exactly what you will do when they are no longer needed. Let us look at the symbol of breathing. Part of the body fantasy is the experience of inhaling and exhaling. This constant exchange seems to occupy every moment of time. Indeed, if it were to cease, the you that is attached to the body fantasy would cease to be. This is very silly, to believe that what you are could cease to be. This was what you undertook when you identified with and as the body. You willingly engaged in the fantasy that you could cease to be. You are waking up, recognizing what you seem to have done. As you recognize what you seem to have done, you remember that this doing, this separating out into vulnerable bodies, would only be possible in an illusion. Now, in order to become free from this illusion, you must allow all fantasy-based thoughts to be undone. We are going to use the inhalation to represent experience. Every day you seem to experience many different things. They seem to come to you. The exhalation represents response. As you experience, you seem to interface with that experience as a separate one. There are only two ways of responding, with fear or with love. You can judge how you feel. This is the only thing you can judge successfully. When you don't feel good, you have lost your way. Instead of allowing loving responses, you are blaming the world and its components. Yourself is one component, for experiences you consider to be undesirable. Whenever you have lost your way, you are hiding yourself from yourself. Remember this. You are always responsible for what you experience. Another way of saying this is that help is always available. Let's say that you are believing that you are inhabiting a world imperiled by environmental destruction. You are feeling threatened. The feeling of threat means that you have lost your way. It is a useful alert to have. The ability to judge what you are feeling is what brings you out of the illusion. When you believe you can judge the world seemingly outside of you with any degree of success, this is the moment when you are lost. How to navigate through a fantasy world that you are not able to judge? Go within. This is the ever-flowing spring of loving response not controlled by a separate identity structure. Finally understanding that you truly cannot judge the world is what gives you the clarity to go within. There is nowhere else to go, because nothing else truly exists. True responsibility means that you are willing to go to your source, not to the thoughts of a separate identity structure, to guide all response within the fantasy. True responsibility is surrender. You surrender to what you are, and this is effortless. Remember this when you feel burdened by an idea of effort. If you allow it to wash away, you are left with what you are. What you are is what all others are, and it is always present, always available, always willing to help you. Your exhaling can be blaming the world and the selves inhabiting it, or it can be an expression of the light. The expression of the light comes from the now with no premeditation. It is simply always there for you, always ready. The blame that comes from deciding what the world is and who the wrongdoer is takes the responsibility away from you. When you give your responsibility away, you give your power away. Even though giving your power away is impossible, you can fantasize about it. You can deliver an experience of disempowerment to yourself through illusion, and this is what the experience of time and bodies is all about. Now you have the power to allow the fantasy of time and bodies to be used to bring all of you out of the fantasy together. Inhale. Experience comes to you throughout the day, and all of it is based upon the thoughts you believe, the thoughts you have believed enough times for them to coagulate into beliefs. You are never victim of experience. Victimhood is not possible, but an illusory and very realistic experience of victimhood that would tempt you to blame others is. Exhale. If you have not judged your experience, your response comes from the simplicity of what you are. If you have judged your experience either positively or negatively, some disquiet or tension can be felt. If you feel the disquiet, now is the time to allow all false thought and belief to drain away, revealing the simplicity of what you and all others have always been. Simple, always there, always alive. We are always here to guide you as you experience an illusion you chose, an illusion you sustain with thought. Knowing this, you are able to accept our help. Thank you for your willingness to emerge from all that is unreal. Thanks for listening.